There are a lot of bigger pressing things that's going on that is much more concerning. Number one, of course, is this. And this could have much broader implications because, hey, when half of the goods being shipped into the US cannot come in, well, that's definitely going to disrupt things and make things much more expensive. So there is this port strike that's ongoing, and a lot of people still don't know about it. I talked to a few people yesterday that still had no clue. To be fair, I didn't know about it up until 2 days ago. But yeah, until this gets resolved, this is going to have major implications because a lot of things that are coming into the country will no longer be able to come into the country. And I don't know how long this is going to take to get resolved, right? The White House has to step in. Biden administration has to come in and talk to both sides and come to some kind of resolution, because the longer this takes, the longer it's going to take to get things going again. I think estimates it's like 1 week delay causes a 6-week backlog. So think about it. And it only gets worse right after the first week, and then it becomes like 8-week backlog or whatever. I mean, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. So hopefully this will get resolved soon, really soon, because we don't want price of goods to start coming up. After 4 years of hikes, okay, the Fed fund rate being hiked up for 4 years at the fastest rate ever in history by Fed Chair Powell, we finally see inflation come down to the level he wants to see at around 2 to 3%. The last thing we want to see is prices of goods start skyrocketing, which then, of course, disrupts all the measurements that we have. And that would show inflation going back up again, and that would be horrible, right? We want Powell to continue to cut rates. We don't want rate hikes. We want cuts. We want major cuts. So, yeah. So this needs to be resolved soon. Sooner the better, right? So that's number one. Obviously, this started happening yesterday, and this definitely disrupted things in a negative way. So that's number one. Of course, the other thing that is also happening that's disrupting things is, of course, the war. Now, this is disrupting things on many fronts. Number one, oil is going up. Oil also is going to make things more expensive, right? Oil, you need oil for everything, especially shipping. So when barrels of oil go up, well, costs of goods also go up. I guess it doesn't matter if nothing's coming into the country right now, but ultimately it's going to make everything go up and more expensive, right? And right now we're kind of in a waiting period because yesterday we know that Iran shot a lot of missiles at Israel, and now Israel is looking to shoot a lot of missiles back. It hasn't happened yet. It may happen today. It may happen tomorrow or before Friday, right? So now everyone's waiting to see how they're going to retaliate. So this is like an ongoing thing. And again, the U.S. is pulled into this as well, right? So the U.S. is now dealing with two major things, one with Israel in the Middle East and one at our borders with the port strike. So these two major things are what's disrupting things, right? Disrupting Uptober right now. So unfortunately, they're major things. They're major things that are happening right now. You can't predict these things, right? Like no matter what, well, maybe some short term, maybe you can predict it. Long term, you just can't predict some of these things that are happening, right? And before these things, what happened? Japan had a big uproar and they kicked out their prime minister, and there was a new one that was elected. I mean, some of these things just come and there's no way to predict them, right? They're what Bitcoin considers disruptions or distractions, right, along the way. But ultimately, Bitcoin does not care, moves past it, and continues forward. But in the meantime, definitely having an effect on its price. I guess out of all the badness, there is something good in the U.S. The non-farm payroll number went up more than expected. So this is showing that, hey, more people found jobs last week versus not finding jobs. So that's good. So that showed that at least America is not in a very dire position right now. So that's good. It's good to see some numbers come in better than expected, not everything absolutely collapsing at this point. So that's good. All right. So as for Bitcoin and crypto itself, yesterday, obviously, we got hit with these two bad news. A lot of people got wrecked with their longs. $500 million of liquidations. Not good. Mostly on the long side, but even some on the short side. 451 million long. It's a dangerous game, guys. A lot of people get wrecked with leverage. I got wrecked yesterday. I know a lot of you guys did too. Just be careful. If you're going to play with leverage, you got to be careful, because when you win, you look like a genius. When you lose, you look like a fool. That's honestly how it goes. But yesterday, obviously, we lost all of our weekly gain. We're no lower than when we were like a week ago, but it just kind of really sucks that we lost the week gain that we had from the last week of September, right? But the liquidations definitely also pulled us back probably further than we should have gone because of it. However, like I said, these things are distractions, okay? They may be disrupting us from our way up right now, but there are definitely a lot of good things. I don't want to just say that, hey, we're in a horrible position and, everything's done for and we're not going to go up anymore and the bull market's over. No, not by a long shot, all right? You guys know me. Bitcoin, the sentiment in Bitcoin changes very, very quickly. In fact, later this week, we could be rallying and being in Uptober mode once again, right? Things change really quickly when it comes to Bitcoin and crypto.